Hi guys, Chris with Microsoft here with another exciting episode of What's New in Windows Server 2012. I promised to make this one a little shorter. My last two have been rather long. We're kind of in part 3, or if I end up splitting it up, it'd probably be like part 6 or 7 of a Hyper-V section of What's New in Windows Server 2012. So what I haven't covered yet is the live storage migration, even though in the last episode we talked a lot about live migration itself. So live storage migration, similar technology, only I'm not moving from one Hyper-V host to another. I'm just moving from one drive to another, or possibly out to maybe an SMB3 network share. So let's move just like we did before. Right click, we hit the move wizard. And I'm actually going to move this over just a teeny tiny bit so that we can actually see. Let's not move that up there. Property page instead. That way we can see the status window. So I'm going to move the virtual machine storage this time. And I'm going to move it all to a single location, although I could pick multiple different locations or just the hard drives. But I'm going to move everything, and I'm going to move it to a, how about we move this onto the C drive here. So I don't have a Hyper-V folder yet on C because everything's been on D on this host so far. So let's throw it here and call that my location I want to move everything to. So I'm going to move that. I'm going to say finish, and off it goes. Now you notice I didn't have to set anything up, although we did have to set up the configuration on Hyper-V to be able to live migrate from one host to another. I didn't have to do anything here in the configuration. If you didn't see any of the previous episodes, the Hyper-V settings right here for live migration versus live storage migration, live migration has to be turned on. Storage migration is already on. And by default, you can move 2 at a time. You can push that up as high as you think your hardware can handle. So let's bring that back up, and let's bring the status of this back up here just to see that it's kind of turned on. You didn't have to install anything on top of Hyper-V to get this to work. It's just built into Hyper-V and how Hyper-V does its thing. And there is no downtime with this process. The virtual machine that is up and doing its thing right now is not losing any blips. 10.0. I cannot talk. 10.1.0.4 should be one it can get to. I can't get to 4, 2, 3. We're just moving from one place to another just to see some activity, to see that it doesn't like pause the VM briefly and incur just a teeny tiny bit of downtime. It does not do that. So what it does, similar to if you watch the previous episode, you've already heard me explain that we're basically taking kind of a mini snapshot of the drive. We're more or less going to move the bulk, the parent, if you will, the body of that over to whatever the destination is. And then we're going to mirror writes after that's finished until we get the delta, which is going to be just another file, a chunk that moves over. And then once we have an atomic transaction and everything fails and nothing goes bad or comes up with some sort of an error, we should get a success, and it's just done. And that's when it ceases to mirror write and change operations to both drives. In the live migration, it was to both servers, but in this case it's a little bit simpler. It's a little bit less involved in just moving a file from one drive to another, but the point of course being that we never actually lose any downtime. We don't get and gain any downtime on that server. And because there's not a lot to set up, because there's not a lot to move and not a lot to do on this is going to be a much shorter video, which should come as a pleasant surprise to anyone who's been following this series on what's new in Windows Server 2012 and had to sit through the last hour and a half of me going through all the changes in Hyper-V. The next episode is going to cover the replica. And I'm very excited about Replica. This is a cool new technology built into Hyper-V, another free piece of the add-on to, well, Hyper-V, which comes with the operating system. It can help you with DR situations. So as you can see, we've now succeeded. We now have an atomic transaction. Nothing ever really went down or paused or stopped moving here on our VM. We had access to it the whole time. Users would not have lost any time as a result, and now we should be able to come in here and see under the Hyper-V folder that we've got our VHDs right here, and we've got our snapshot, it made it, and we've got the virtual machines XML files and stuff all built in and now on the C drive instead of being on the D drive. So we had a successful transaction, which compared to my last video, which was wrought with errors and problems, which is good, right? Because we only learn when things kind of start to go south on us as far as success. So there you go. There you have it. Live storage migration. And couldn't have been simpler. So anyway, guys, this has been Chris with Microsoft. As always, thanks a bunch for watching. If you did find anything about this useful or interesting, please, as always, give it a quick like. And feel free to subscribe to my channel. My blog is also at 9z.com. It's real easy to remember. Just the last number and the last letter, .com. That has links to my Facebook, my LinkedIn, Twitter, and other stuff like that. So again, thanks a ton for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.